has allowed our local mental health and drug operations to be able to treat people, be able to help her to deal with all the things that she talked about. We need our guidance counselors in the schools that can pick this up, and they need to refer these young people to the help that they need. We hope at the local level. You know, there's one other element here that has gone unsaid. You hear what she was saying about, I did this and I did that and I didn't know. You know, one of the things that I talked about when I was out across the country, and I talked about quite a bit in Ohio, you know who loves you. You know? Yeah. You know who else loves you? The God that made you. Loves you regardless of your problems. Wants you to do better and get better. You know, the faith element of this really matters. We think about the 12 steps. And the 12th step is to turn yourself over to a higher power. Frankly, I think that many of our religious institutions maybe haven't moved into the 21st century like they should, or have not communicated a message of hope and grace and forgiveness. I used to tell people on the trail, and I tell them today, no one's ever been made like you before, and to everybody here today. No one has ever been like you, or ever will be like you again. And you have a purpose. And when you understand you have a purpose, then you have a much greater ability to fend off a lot of these challenges. The crisis of drugs used to be locked pretty much into our poor communities, but now it's everywhere. Why is that? Well, we hear this story. We actually had a young man that participated and started talking. He's a heroin addict. I haven't had the latest update because I haven't been in church to see the mom and the dad who've spent a number of weeks now in Seattle hoping he's going to survive a heart surgery and who knows, a stroke. Handsome, articulate, smart heroin addict. Got there through OxyContin. Faith in our communities matters. Now, we're talking a lot still. This is one of my frustrations. We're talking a lot about all these tools that we have now sent to the communities. Randy, if I send you a toolbox to build a house, but you never pick up the tools to build the house, and it doesn't work out very well, does it? And when we send these tools to people in the communities, to give them the opportunity to heal our communities, they have to pick up the tools and use them. We'll send them more tools if that's what we need to do. We're talking so much now about people who are already addicted. You know, the best treatment we can have is no drug use. That's been the problem with this debate about legalizing drugs. You tell kids don't do drugs, but on the other hand, this drug is legal. It's confusing to young people. You know, I have two 17-year-old daughters, and actually, I don't know, I should probably start preaching at them again, but we've told them so much about the dangers of drugs. I think maybe they've got it. I hope so. Pray for me that they've got it, Sarah, okay? But we need to tackle this where we live. So when you are out to dinner tonight, and you see somebody sitting at the table, you walk up to them. You know what? That's what that guy was. I picked that person who was beaten and put him in a hotel and took care of him. He never knew who that person was. You know, it's our job to stick our nose, again, where it doesn't belong. You know, there was a lady that lived across the street from us. And she stuck her nose into everything that I did. Thank God she did. We need to stick our noses in other people's businesses here because we're in this together. And either we're going to get healthy or we're going to get sicker. And sicker is not a choice for us. So when we talk about these issues, we here at the state level will continue to hand the tools off. But I would love to see an outpouring in all of our communities to take seriously this threat, because this is the threat of death. And it's not just this issue. There are many issues out there today where people in the neighborhoods have to say, I'm going to make a difference. There was a man here a little bit ago, John Pope Bryant, who came to see me. He said, you know, you don't need an entire community. He said, and Malcolm Gladwell in the book, The Tipping Point, argues that if you can just find, what did he say, 5%? Who was in that meeting with me? Or they're all gone. They've had enough of me today. 5% of leaders in a community. Think about what 5 people can do in a town when they say, I'm dedicating my life to change. That's what we need to find in all of our communities. At 5% of people who want to stand up and change lives and save lives, they'll be rewarded for it. It's frustrating at the time, but over time, it'll work. Thank you.